Hey, Chrissy here. I am a landscape architect and the owner of Kismet Design. I am a very process-driven designer, and I love sharing what I do and how I do it with anyone who's interested. Reaching your true potential and achieving your own personal goals will not happen by chance. You have to set your intentions, make a plan, and do the work. Thank you for joining me to nerd out on design. Don't forget to subscribe and to share too. Let's create something great together. As I've said before, January comes with an energy of beginnings and fresh starts. Everyone has their own unique story. Some of you came to this industry as a second or even third career. Some took a more direct path. Either way, with the advantage of some hindsight, I would bet that each and every one of you can trace hints of inspiration, interests, talents, and skills throughout your whole life that built you to what you are today. As I think back on how I got to where I am today, I see some of those same threads. From a very young age, I have always loved art, drawing, building, and problem solving. I was equally entertained by Legos and Lincoln Logs as I was with pens and paints. As I got older, I would draw out ideas before building them. Nerdy, I know. My grandpa was an engineer, and he would let me sit at his desk and showed me how to use T-squares and compasses, and my tiny little brain loved the precision and the order the right tools brought to the creativity. That balance is something that defines a lot of my life and workflow processes today. Fast forward, I had the amazing opportunity to take drafting and CAD classes in high school, and that really set my career trajectory. Upon entering college, I had my sights on a degree in architecture. After being introduced to the field of landscape architecture, I knew I had found something special. I loved the order and precision of architecture, but honestly, I was also very jealous of the interior design majors putting together their palettes of materials and playing with color and texture. And then when landscape architecture combined both and incorporated my love of the outdoors, I knew it was a good fit for me. Unfortunately, I had already spent a year in the architecture program, which put me a year behind in the landscape architecture program when I switched. It was a 5-year program at the time, and being a year behind meant I would have not only 6 years of college, which I wouldn't mind, I love learning, but I would have 6 years of student loans, which, as all of you would agree, not ideal. Because of my previous background and experience, I was thankfully able to petition to waive the LA 101 series classes so that I could enter the program as a sophomore. Well, they didn't really make it easy on me. They made me test out of those classes and create many of the major milestone projects from those courses without the instruction to show that I had the graphics and design capabilities and understanding to jump to the 200 level classes. I had a pretty limited time frame by which to do this, but thankfully they weren't expecting perfection. I just had to create those projects to a satisfactory level to be able to continue taking the 200 level courses and stay on track to graduate when expected. It's a good thing I work well under pressure, and also my drafting skills from high school and a lifetime of art and drawing really came in handy. I had multiple internships during college. The first was for an architect. Shout out to the Kymig Associates. That was a fantastic experience, and I learned so much from Alan, the owner. And then after moving to Spokane for the last 2 years of my program, I interned at 2 different design build firms for landscape architecture. The first one was Environment West. They had a team of landscape architects, multiple install crews, and a nursery attached to the building, which I loved to stroll on my lunch. There, I was working mostly on residential projects and planned developments. And then after that, I went to work for Land Expressions. A colleague from Environment West actually had worked there previously and put in a good word for me. Funny that a few years later, he joined the team again. Now he runs his own LA firm in Spokane. Land Expressions is where much of my foundation was set. I got to work on everything from track home landscapes to huge estates, commercial and municipal projects, and most fun of all, huge water features. They did work all over the country and even a few beyond the US. This experience really gave me a broad view of the possibilities I could take my career in while building my skills and experience. There were multiple designers to learn from and work alongside, including landscape architects and horticulturists. They're a design build firm, which also gave me great experiences into how things are built, bidding, and collaborating with crews. During slow times in the office, I had the opportunity to join the install crews, which was a great experience. Being the one to actually build a project brings a whole new level of insight and understanding of design. Because I worked as an intern all throughout college, I was fortunate enough that I had a job right outside of college, doing what I loved. Having graduated in 2008, many of my classmates struggled to find jobs because of the economy. The next milestone I set my sights on was licensure. To become a licensed landscape architect in the state of Washington, you need a combined 7 years of college and work experience. And unfortunately, you can't double dip, even though I was working and going to school at the same time. So I had to wait to become eligible to sit for the test. As soon as I was, I started taking the infamous LAIR exam. It's a little different now, but back then, when I took it, it consisted of 5 sections, 3 of which were multiple choice and written, and 2 that were graphics sections. The hardest section being the grading and drainage graphic tests, which had a 20-something% passing rate. A little daunting. I studied my butt off for the tests, and thankfully that hard work paid off. I passed each section and was ready to submit all of my paperwork to finally become a licensed landscape architect. Because I had started taking the test a little bit early, because I expected to have to retake at least 1 or 2 sections, which is common, I still had a little bit of waiting to do. But finally, I received my license just a few months before my son was born. I continued working for Land Expressions, and that set the foundation for my career in some very, very solid stone. Pun intended. I gained knowledge there that I still rely on today. But unfortunately, after the birth of my son, I had to make a difficult decision to move to be closer to family. My husband had the opportunity to transfer, and it was really what our family needed at the time. After a short transition period with another design build firm, we got settled and I started working for a small design-only business. I was the first person that she ever hired. When I called her out of the blue looking for a job, she laughed at me. I had called her while she was elbow deep in QuickBooks, late into the morning, still having not showered or eaten breakfast, and I jumped right out of the gate with a chipper, "Are you looking to hire a landscape architect?" For all of you solopreneurs out there, I know you can picture what must have been going through her head. Well, for some reason, she decided to meet with me that afternoon for coffee. Maybe I was just pushy enough that she had to see who this crazy girl was. I worked for her for 8 years, building that business into a well-known and respected design firm in the area. We made a fantastic team, and at one point, we even had 3 other designers working with us. The countless amazing clients, projects, and installers over the years were amazing. I grew as a designer and as a professional throughout those years, and I learned valuable skills and mindsets. Seeing that business build and grow and have been such an integral part of the successes was wonderful. But as you already know, that's not where my career is today. But after 8 years, it became apparent to me that a change was inevitable. Really, it was about a year before that I spent trying to figure out what the next steps looked like. But finally, after reaching a tipping point, I made the decision to start my own business. It was super scary and really emotional at that. But Kismet Design was born. All the beginning energy came rushing in. Excitement, fear, terror, and hope, all ping-ponging around in my brain like an overly caffeinated squirrel. As the weeks, months, and years passed, I began to realize that many of my fears and anxieties in starting my own business were really well unfounded. But that's what beginners do, right? Fast forward to today, and this year of 2024 will mark 5 years since I started Kismet Design. It is still a baby compared to some of my colleagues with businesses that are 10, 20 years old, and even longer. But I've really enjoyed the opportunity that it has brought. The most surprising thing about starting my business was how much I have enjoyed the building of a business part of it. I didn't realize how much knowledge and experience I already had in so much of it. And then I really thought that the business pieces would be daunting tasks that I would resent for pulling me away from the design. But it's been quite the opposite. There are days where I am super excited to work on the business, and the creating of processes, strategies, vision, and goals has been really fun and rewarding, as you could guess if you've listened or tuned in at all. As I envision the future, I am excited for the opportunity to look back on progress and mindset shifts and realizations that the future brings. As I reminisce on my story, I hope that you think about your own. And for those of you who are starting out, I will leave you with one thought that I hope you write down somewhere that you can see it every day. Allow yourself to be a beginner. No one starts off being excellent. No matter how big your goals are, everyone out there that you look at who is crushing it started off as a beginner at some point. Each step you make gets you closer to where you want to go. You just have to keep moving. I would love for you to share with me your origin story. Reach out on social or email. I would love to hear it. To wrap up, I want to thank you for your time. I hope the ideas discussed today have left you feeling excited and energized. As I build both my business and my life, I value the support and feedback you provide. I would love for you to reach out to me to let me know what you think, give me ideas, or just to connect. Please don't forget to subscribe and also share with a friend. Until next time, go create something wonderful.